likes to be known as the full-blood Cajun Queen. And she needs a prop here.
Uh-oh. That's a real alligator, y'all. That book right there, Amazon sells it for $60, something like that.
It's got a lot of pictures there.
I don't make no money off of
Way
it,
back
so
when.
if y'all want it, y'all get it for $40 from me. Cause anyway, it's mostly pictures. Y'all want to pass it around? I can pass it. Anyway, okay. So y'all, one day I was watching TV. Is this thing on? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, one day I was watching TV and I saw that there was scientists. They were at this place called Avery Island in South Louisiana.
Tabasco!
Yeah, they make Tabasco over there. Yeah. Yeah, so, but there were scientists, they were over there living for a week. Oh man, that's loud. Okay. They were eating bugs from the back of bark to prove how this Bigfoot or whatever was living out there. Some kind of animal or whatever was living out there for so long. And I called my daddy. I was like, Daddy, I said, there's a Bigfoot on Avery Island. And he used to take us out there camping when we were kids, and there's a Bigfoot out there. And he said, Lisa, let me tell you a story. He said one day, he grew up poor. There were 4 kids, 1 girl, 3 boys. The girl, she was in charge of the gardening, and the boys, they were in charge of bringing something home for supper. Well, that day, it was his turn to bring something home for supper. Well, so that morning, Grandma reminded him it was his turn to bring something home. So he grabbed his rifle, he puts it on his back, he gets on his motorcycle to go to school, and he goes to the gas station, fills his motorcycle up. Back, they didn't have no money, so every time people fill their car up with gas, there's always just this little bit in the hose, So he'd go from each hose and put some gas in his car, with that little bit that's left in the hose. And then he'd go to school and he'd put his rifle in the locker. And then that day he went hunting, him and a couple of buddies, he got his rifle out the locker and he went hunting. And he went hunting on Avery Island. And him and a couple of buddies, and they started tracking this bear. And because they saw the prints, with a 22 rifle, which he said was not real smart. That was his thoughts. It was not real smart tracking a bear with a 22. Everybody knows that. And so they're going around and they see this son and his dad, they're fishing at this lake. And so they decide they're gonna mess with him. If y'all know my daddy, he liked to do some things. But anyway, so there's a lot of moss over there, so they covered him from head to toe with moss. And he was the biggest one. And y'all know Hoss? He's built like Hoss. He's like tall and like nothing but muscle. Just like Hoss right there. And so they covered him from head to toe with moss. And he goes out and he goes, "Rawr!" And the fishing poles, they went flying up in the air. And they took off, they jumped in the truck and they took off. And this place, back in the day, it was a salt mine. And if y'all ever heard the song, I Owe My Soul to the Company Store, it was kind of like that. It was everybody who lived on the island, they worked for the salt mine, and they lived in the little houses, and all their paycheck went for this little store, and they had a tab at the store, and they never left. They never left the island. There's the store and the house, and so, well, after that happened, well, my dad and his buddies, well, they got thirsty, so they went to the company store. And so they're walking up to the company store, and they're all, the people, they're all sitting out on the benches, like Mayberry, they sitting out on the benches. Well, they start talking about this creature. And the guys that were at the lake, well, they shot at him. They shot at him a bunch of times, and they hit him, and it still kept at him. And so the story just kept running and running, everybody, and there's other people, yeah, I saw him last week. Yeah, I shot at him too, and I hit him too, and he still kept at me. And the story kept going on and on to where 40 years later, there's scientists eating bugs out of the bark from the back of the trees. That's my story.